My Heart Will Go On, the incredible true story of Celine Dion. Celine Dion is a household name and one of the globe's most legendary singers. She is strong, powerful and venerable. Much has been said about her unique, melodic, haunting and beautiful voice. But many fans do not know the real truth of her rise to fame, and the love that inspired her along the way. After years of fighting rumors about her looks, love and family life, Dion finally opens up and reveals the truth about her career, her passions in life, and the one love of her life. Let's take a look back at Celine Dion's incredible life story and the truth behind the scenes. Celine Dion was born on the 30th of March 1968 in Celline, Quebec, Canada. Celine's parents already had 13 children and were struggling financially when her mom found out she was pregnant again. This pregnancy was not planned, and the entire family had to make adjustments and changes to welcome her into their already crowded home. It was so crowded that she had to sleep in a cabinet drawer because there were no more available beds. Little did they know that this baby girl would rise out of poverty to become one of the biggest stars in the world. Even at the moment of her birth, it was clear that Dion was destined for a life in the world of music. This is because she is descended from a famous French explorer, Zachary Clantier, who a number of musical stars of today can trace their heritage to. In 1634 Clantier fled France and crossed the ocean and founded one of the first French-Canadian families. Global stars like Celine Dion, Madonna, Beyoncé, and Shania Twain, all have genetics tracing right back to him. Apparently, Jack Kerouac and Alanis Morissette are also related. And it wasn't just her far-back heritage that was rich with musical influence. Both Dion's parents were also filled with the love of music, and they actually named her after a huge is-off song called Celine. Born into a family filled with the musical talent, it was no surprise when Dion gave her first performance at aged 5 at her brother's wedding and shone above all her siblings. It was the start of her very illustrious singing career and a star that would only shine brighter and brighter. But the truth was that Dion didn't only just have to survive poverty to make it on her way to stardom. In her early years, she also went through a number of near-death experiences. But none was as close and severe as when she was 5 and was knocked over by a truck, leaving her with skull fractures and in a coma for almost a week. She thankfully survived this near-death experience, and would go on to become one of the biggest stars in the world. As the young Dion was growing up in Quebec, she was surrounded by musical influence and singing. This is because her family owned a piano bar called Le Vieux Barrel in Celline, Quebec. All the kids, including Celine, used to practice and perform in the bar. Dion started performing at age 5 and soon became the firm favorite with the clientele. The bar would one day end up closing down, but Dion's star quality would remain forever. As Dion continued to turn heads with her talent and charisma, her brother and mother wrote a song for her to perform. Her mother insisted that it be sent out as her talent was not to be ignored. They sent the recording to many producers whose names they found on records. Finally, they got a producer to listen to the song. His name was René Angelil. When her mother sent out the recording to producers, she attached a note saying that the singer was a very talented 12-year-old girl. Angelil received many of these types of recordings and ignored it until one of Dion's brothers got in touch with him. After his first listen he changed his mind and instantly wanted her to audition with him. And so, Dion arrived to show her talents to this prospective manager. As she got ready to perform, Angelil gave her a pencil and told her to pretend it's a microphone and that she was performing to thousands of people. He wanted to see if she really had talent. Needless to say, her performance blew him away. After Dion had given her performance, she knew instantly she had given a great audition. This was because, after she stopped singing, she looked at Angelil, and saw he had tears streaming down his face. That was the moment in which she realized that he could make her a megastar. The journey would not be easy as she was young and had a lot to learn, but she was well on her way. René was known as a gambling man, but in 1981 he took the biggest risk of his career. He mortgaged his home so that he could have the money to record and produce Celine's first single, La Voix du Bon. The gamble paid off as the song quickly rose to #1 in Canada. After the success of her debut single, Celine quickly rose to stardom in Canada. In 1984, Pope John II visited Quebec and Celine was asked to perform the French anthem for him at the Montreal Olympic Stadium. With over 65,000 people present, she says that this was one of the most special performances of her life. And soon enough, Dion was about to spread her wings further afield, heading to superstardom in Europe. In 1988 Celine Dion represented Switzerland in the Eurovision contest and performed to millions of people globally. Celine won the competition by a single vote over the UK. The competition was held in Ireland and this win propelled her even further into stardom. After breaking Europe with her unique singing talents, Dion was signed to CBS, the international arm of Columbia Records, joining the ranks of artists like Michael Jackson at the label. When she was 18 she said she wanted to be like Michael and achieve as much as he had. She remained a firm fan of his, right up to his death. But she had no idea she would one day grow to be a star in her own right. As Celine rose to fame and her career started to blossom, she was still very young and had a lot to learn. And so, upon advice from René, she took a break from her career to grow up out of the public eye. She took this time to learn English and polish up her stage skills. Many believed it to be a risky move, but it would soon prove to pay off, in more ways than one. After taking her 18-month growing up break, Celine returned a much more confident singer. Her English had also improved greatly and she was ready for global stardom. And so, she released the album Incognito, her first record with CBS. The album was a great success and sold over 500,000 copies. But this would only be the beginning of Dion's success in the wider world. It was no surprise that Dion was able to learn English so quickly and become a huge star in another language. Because not only does she have an astounding voice, she also has a great ear and tongue for foreign languages. As well as her well-known songs in French and English, she has recorded and performed in Spanish, German, Italian, Latin, Japanese and even Mandarin Chinese. She has really engaged with fans in their own languages. In 1990, Celine released her first full English album, Unison. This was the album that truly propelled her into the American market and spotlight, and the single Where Does My Heart Beat now topped the charts in the US. But just as she was getting ready to do her first American tour, something shattering happened to her. As Dion prepared for her debut American tour, she was shattered when she lost her voice. Due to a grueling schedule, her vocal cords were so strained that she was speechless and was immediately advised to stop singing for a month or she would have to undergo major surgery. But this wouldn't be the end of the road for the up-and-coming superstar. Even though Dion was devastated by the damage to her vocal cords, she still had plenty of projects and ideas in the pipeline outside of her music career. Aside from her incredible singing talent, Celine is also a great chef, just like her mom, and in 1990 she opened a restaurant called Nichols, which was so successful that she expanded into a very lucrative chain of restaurants across Canada. Celine also published her own magazine called Celine Dion Magazine. Around this time, another success for Dion was the hit theme song Beauty and the Beast, from the successful 1991 Disney film of the same name, for which she received her first Grammy. But the song caused an extreme backlash from her Quebecois fans, because it was in English. However, Dion soon gained favor with them again when she refused the English Artist of the Year award. Funnily enough, even though Dion had already become pretty famous, the execs behind the Beauty and the Beast single decided that she still wasn't quite a big enough name to drum up excitement and sales for the record. and so that's why they teamed her up with Peabo Bryson, for the two to do the song together as a duet. Little did they know that Dion would go on to become one of the biggest stars of all time. When Dion and Angelil first met, their relationship was nothing but professional. After all, she was only a teenager, and he was 26 years older than her. But as she got older, and the two of them became closer and closer, their relationship eventually progressed to the next level. Maybe at 17, 18 years old, my feelings started to change for him, Dion said to Access Hollywood. I kind of saw him differently. And when Dion was 19 years old, the two of them started up a romantic relationship. The happy couple started dating when Dion was 19, but they decided to keep their relationship out of the public eye for another few years. They knew the public would have opinions about their relationship and the huge age difference. But they also knew this relationship was forever, and so eventually they decided the time had come to confirm the truth of their bond. Celine and René had been secretly dating for almost 5 years before the relationship was revealed to the public. René was afraid of what people might think and say, but Celine was the one who insisted that they eventually share their secret love. After all, she was in love and wanted the world to know. But though she didn't care about the public's opinion of their relationship, there was one person whose blessing was super important to her. Even though Dion knew she was meant to be with Angelil and that they were destined to marry and have a family, there was one person in her life who was not convinced. That person was Dion's mother, who was strongly against the relationship. In fact, she did almost everything in her power to dissuade Celine from being involved with him. Aside from the age difference, there was another reason that was probably putting her off about her daughter's prospective husband. The truth was, even though Angelil was determined to marry Dion and start a family with her, this wasn't the first time he had walked down the aisle. In fact, before falling for Dion, René Angelil had already been married twice. His first marriage was to Denise Duquette all the way back in 1966. The couple had a son together, Patrick Angelil. Not only that, but her stepson Patrick was older than her by a good few years. After overcoming the surprise from the public and gaining Dion's mother's approval, the happy couple was finally ready to tie the knot. And by this time, Dion's fame had grown so great that she was virtually Canadian royalty. And so it was no surprise that when the couple wed in 1994, it was a lavish event, hosted at Montreal's Notre Dame Basilica. The couple had the ceremony broadcasted on Canadian national TV, watched by millions across the country. Dion commissioned designers Mayella and Steve Gentile to design her lavish wedding gown. The dress took over 1,000 hours to complete and had a train almost 21 feet long. To top it all, she wore a 20-pound tiara on her head. The wedding remained a talking point for quite some time. Of all the newlyweds in the world, Dion and Angelil were probably the hardest to buy for. When they marry, most couples start saving money to buy their first home. Not these two. They had both amassed a fortune and had a number of properties to their names before the wedding. After they married, they purchased an extravagant property in Florida that was later sold for an estimated $72 million. But she was about to hit the headlines for a very different reason. Not long after her wedding, Dion was given an incredibly exciting opportunity to record the theme song for James Cameron's upcoming blockbuster Titanic. But not many people know that Dion was not actually particularly convinced by the song, or the record, when she first heard of it. "There's one song that I didn't want to record and I'm glad they didn't listen to me," she said in an appearance on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. The truth was that even though Dion was not convinced by the record, her agent and now husband saw the potential in it from the get-go. "It didn't appeal to me," she said. "I was probably tired that day, very tired. My husband said, 'Let's hold on.' He talked to the writer and he said, 'Let's try to make it, like, a little demo.' This demo ended up being the actual version of the song, and a history-making, record-breaking hit. Of course, as we know, Titanic became one of the biggest and most successful movies in history, and Dion's single from the soundtrack went down in music history as one of the greatest songs of all time. Hot on the heels of this success, Dion launched her worldwide Let's Talk About Love tour. It seemed like Dion was truly on top of the world, but in the midst of one of her performances, she received news that would change her life forever. Even though Dion was on top of the world in terms of her career, in her personal life she received some truly devastating news. Because in 1999 Dion's husband René Angelil was diagnosed with throat cancer. His illness progressed at a rapid speed and soon he was unable to do even the basic things. Celine turned things around and spent almost every waking moment taking care of him. And as if the devastating news of her husband's illness wasn't enough to deal with, around this time Dion was also struck with another challenge. Because of everything going on at home, she decided to slow things down a bit after releasing 13 smash albums. During this time, National Enquirer released a fake story saying she was pregnant with twins. Dion sued them for $20 million. They apologized and donated money to the American Cancer Society. Even though this was an incredibly difficult time for Celine, with her husband being diagnosed with throat cancer and the media spreading hurtful lies, it didn't mean that she wasn't able to enjoy life in other ways. For example, she kept up her keen love of golf. Not only was she known to enjoy the sport herself, but was often seen at the big tournaments watching the Masters play. And so in the late 1990s, Celine decided to open her own golf course, Le Mirage, located in Terrebonne near Montreal, Canada. And that wasn't the only accomplishment of Dion during this time. The late 90s also saw her release the smash hit single It's All Coming Back to Me Now. The power ballad was written by Jim Steinman, who knew it needed someone with an incredibly strong voice. The legendary singer Meat Loaf was actually lined up to sing the song, but at Steinman's insistence, it went to Dion. The single went on to become one of Dion's biggest hits, and Meat Loaf went on to record a cover version in tribute. After all this success, it came as no surprise when Celine Dion began receiving a high number of prestigious awards and accolades. And so in 1998, she was awarded the National Order of Quebec. Quite a starry ending for someone who started out sleeping in a drawer. Dion, who did not even graduate from high school, also received an honorary doctorate from Laval University. She dedicated the doctorate to Angelil as he had such a big influence on her life. And those aren't the only great honors bestowed on Dion throughout her stellar career. We all know the famous and illustrious Hollywood Walk of Fame, but did you know that Canada also has one of its own? And sure enough, Dion was awarded a star on the Canada Walk of Fame in 1999. Not just that, but she was later awarded a Hollywood star in 2004, making her the only celebrity in the world, to date, who has stars on both. Even though Celine Dion has one of the most unique voices in the world, and some of the most original hits in musical history, she also is known for her iconic cover versions. And so in 2000, she delighted the world with her cover of Cyndi Lauper's I Drove All Night. Dion can sing anything and has a natural way of always adding her own spin into the song. As well as the Lauper cover, some of her best others include All By Myself by Eric Carmen or Beautiful Boy by John Lennon. She has also delighted fans by performing duets with the likes of Barbra Streisand, Michael Jackson, and Gwen Stefani. Dion had been incredibly upset by the media rumors around her expecting twins, but the real reason was even more heartbreaking. Because around this time, she was actually trying to conceive in real life, and having a very difficult time. And so in 2000 she decided to take a career break, and underwent a surgical intervention to help her get pregnant. Happily, it worked, and in 2001 she gave birth to her first child, a son named René Charles Angelil. Even though Celine Dion hailed from Canada, and was initially criticized by many from her native country when she embraced life in the States, it didn't stop her from feeling a great bond with the country that had made her a star. And so in 2001, in the aftermath of the September 11th attacks, Dion returned to the spotlight once again with her emotionally charged performance of God Bless America at the concert held as a tribute to the heroes who perished in this terrorist attack. Not long after this, Dion experienced a personal tragedy of her own. Though she had been the one to take the spotlight from an early age, the truth was she was always being cheered on by one special fan behind the scenes, her father, Adhemar Dion. He had always been in the background and little was known all about him. But in 2003 Dion was devastated when he passed away, and so she paid tribute to him in a very public way. That same day, Dion went on stage and dedicated her show to him. She said that he would want the show to go on and that he had always been her biggest supporter and fan. As well as overcoming her own struggles in her personal life, Celine Dion has become well known for her commitment to helping others. Post the catastrophic Asian tsunami in 2004, Celine vowed to do what she could to raise funds to aid the victims of the natural disaster. And in 2005, she also donated $1 million for Hurricane Katrina victims. "There's people still waiting to be rescued," she said in tearful interview with Larry King. "To me that is not acceptable. We need to serve our country." By this time, it seemed that Dion had achieved pretty much everything one could hope to achieve from a life in showbiz. But in 2007, she branched out even further with a special guest appearance in the soap opera All My Children, where she played herself and performed her hit song Taking Chances. Clearly, Dion was a truly multi-talented artist, and was about to prove this in yet another way. As well as being a multi-talented and super successful singing star, Celine Dion also had another role that she took very seriously, the role of mom. In 2010, she was delighted to find out that she was expecting twins. Dion had undergone a number of IVF treatments over the years, so it was with great joy that she gave birth to beautiful two boys, Eddie and Nelson. But this happy arrival wouldn't slow Dion down in her record-breaking career, anything but. It is no secret that Celine Dion has smashed many records and swept many in award shows with her achievements and talent. But in 2011, she broke a very different kind of awards record when she performed at the 83rd Academy Awards. Not only has Dion herself won a record number of awards and accolades, but this very special performance broke a new standard, as this, her sixth performance for the Oscars, made her the artist with the most single performances at the prestigious event. But sadly, all her achievements would pale in insignificance to the tragedy that was about to occur in her personal life. Throughout Celine Dion's long and illustrious career, one person had stayed by her side throughout, her beloved husband and agent René Angelil. And from the moment of his diagnosis with throat cancer, she had done everything she could to support and honor him. And so she was devastated when in 2016, after a long battle, the love of her life passed away. Dion was devastated. How would she cope raising their beloved children on their own? And as if that wasn't enough, Celine Dion had even more tragedy befall her and her family that very same week. Just 2 days after her beloved husband had passed away, her brother also died, also from a battle with cancer. Not only that, but her brother's passing occurred on what would have been Angelil's birthday. But Dion being the hero that we all know and love, she found strength to carry on in the most inspiring of ways. After the double tragedy of losing her beloved husband and brother, Dion looked to her greatest loves to gain the strength to continue, particularly her now teenage son, René Charles Angelil. Though she had gone a great length to shield her children from the manic clicking of the paparazzi, it was time for her son to step into the spotlight and deliver the eulogy at his father's funeral. Not long after this, he caused quite a social media storm when he presented an award with his mum at the Billboard Music Awards. Throughout her career and life in the spotlight, Dion has always been incredibly open about her feelings and emotions. And true to form, she has been completely honest and candid about how hard it has been for her in the years following her husband's death. But, in true Celine Dion fashion, she turns to the love of her children for comfort. It's clear that they are incredibly close, and rely on each other for support. And this was about to become even more apparent, in more ways than one. For Celine Dion, you might think that her life is all about her own achievements and incredible records that she has broken. But in 2017, Dion happily passed the spotlight over to someone else, her beloved mother. Dion has always been a great driving force and constant support to her daughter, and when it was time to celebrate her 90th birthday, the whole family really went all out. Dion posted a number of photos from her mom's birthday party on social media and said how blessed she was to still have her mom by her side. As we know, Dion is not only a megastar but also a very astute businesswoman. Throughout her career, she has been well known not just for being a powerful and stunning singer, but for doing so with unique style and fashion. And so in 2018 it came as no surprise when Dion launched her own fashion line, although in true Dion style, it was in an unusual niche, providing gender-neutral clothing and fashions for children. As well as championing fashion and style, Dion has also made headlines for speaking out against the phenomenon of body shaming. In 2019, Celine Dion was tapped by L'Oréal Paris as the brand's new global ambassador at the age of 51. But the happy news was accompanied by claims that Dion had lost a lot of weight and questions were raised about her health. Dion shut down the body shamers with an interview with People magazine. "People say, she's a lot thinner but I'm working hard," she said. "I like to move and, weight loss, comes with it." In addition, she says that feeling good is where beauty really comes from. This is about confidence. When we look back at Celine Dion's humble beginnings, it's even more amazing to see just how successful and famous she has become. Though she is clearly not driven by money, well known for using her fortune to donate to worthy causes, there's no denying that Dion has made some serious dinero. In 2020, Forbes estimated her net worth at around an amazing $455 million. Wowza. In this day and age, we often see examples of celebrities becoming stressed or annoyed with the media and paparazzi for chasing them around all the time and not leaving them in peace. But for Celine Dion, she had become well known for always having time for the media, greeting them graciously and happily giving interviews and photos. However, there was one particular time when even Dion's patience was tested, when attention turned to speculation about one certain issue within her personal life. In 2019, after many years of courting the media with grace and happiness, Dion finally found her patience expired when they began speculating over her personal life. Because around this time, Dion was spotted stepping out with her dancer Pepe Munoz, and rumors flew that the two were romantically involved, a rumor that she emphatically denied. "Pepe is gay," she said to Extra. "At first, I think some people did not know that. The thing is that he's my best friend and we danced together. He did so much for me, for my mental health, my spirituality, my strength, my inner strength." As speculation continued to build around Dion's love life, she confirmed once and for all that she was not dating anyone, as she was still grieving for her beloved husband. "Now it is definitely too soon for me," she said to Bizarre magazine. "I am definitely in love with him, married to him, he's the love of my life. It's very difficult for me to see myself with another person." And so, despite the rumors about her love life, it was clear that Dion was not yet ready for another romance. Dion has been incredibly open about her feelings for the future. Though she still misses her husband, she admitted that she would like to fall in love again one day, though just not quite yet. "I don't date," she said to Today magazine. I'm not ready to date. I'm very lucky and happy to have so many people in my surrounding to they make me laugh. However, she revealed that she does sometimes yearn for a romantic partner. I miss to be touched, she said. I miss to be hugged. I missed to be told, you are beautiful. One thing is for sure, when Dion is ready to fall in love again, that new partner will be incredibly lucky.
Thank you for listening. Please subscribe and press the bell icon for more interesting stories.